Let's talk about disturbing horror films. I've decided to put together a list of some recommendations today of some of my favourite disturbing horror films. Obviously, disturbing is subjective. Rather than doing a trigger warning for every single film, I'm just going to do a broad one to begin with. All of these films have different disturbing elements. If you feel like you may be sensitive to any subject in particular, then please do look up triggers before. There is a website called doesthedogdie.com that covers quite a range of different triggers. All of the disturbing films that I will be talking about today also have an actual storyline and substance to the film. They're not just disturbing for disturbing's sake. There are other reasons why I personally enjoy these films. I will be doing this spoiler free, so I will try to be as ambiguous as I can. Starting off with my first recommendation, and that is the coffee table. A couple go furniture shopping for a new coffee table. They're kind of unsure of the one that they're looking at, but the salesman convinces them to buy it anyway. They have a newborn baby and the mum has to go out, so the dad is left at home with the baby and the task of putting together their new coffee table. Whilst the mum is out, a horrific incident happens that will change their lives forever. Everything happens so fast in the first act of this film, and then it kind of slows right down for the rest of the film, but keeping the tension and anxiety high after such a shocking opener. You literally feel the stress and the tension alongside the main character. It's like you are going through this with him. You just have this overarching feeling of dread. Unlike a lot of horror films or disturbing films, you're not waiting for something terrible to happen because something terrible has already happened and you're just left to watch the events unfold following that. It feels strange to say how incredible this film is because of its extreme contents, but it is done so well and in such an engaging way to make you feel like you are really in on something. It's unlike anything I've seen before and the execution is honestly perfect. The next film is Red Rooms. I did not expect this film to be disturbing at all. It honestly does a whole 180 at the end and goes to some really unexpected places. I honestly thought that I was just watching a kind of crime drama until things got darker in the final acts. We follow a woman who is fascinated by a high-profile serial killer case that is currently on trial. She attends each of the court hearings, forming a very unhealthy obsession with the case. She befriends another fan of the case and they end up living together for a while whilst they're both attending the court. I personally wouldn't put this in my own category of straight up horror. It is definitely horror adjacent and very psychological, disturbing. It has a slow pace to a really impactful finale. The scariest thing about this film is that it could be so related to real life. I'm sure so many things like this literally are happening now. It sounds like a horrific true crime documentary. There are so many people in real life that obsess over people who have committed crimes or people in prison, so it is just so disturbing how realistic it is. The next film is The Sadness. A pandemic breaks out, causing people who get infected to act in extremely violent ways, committing torturous crimes to whoever they come across. Those who get infected become absolutely relentless with only one depraved focus. We follow a young couple trying to find safety and just escape this madness. This is actually a film that I was so shocked by the first time I watched it. I didn't know what to expect going in. I didn't think it would be as disturbing as it was. There was a moment where I actually had to pause the film and just kind of process what I was watching. I didn't think I would ever watch it again, but after watching it for the first time, it is the kind of film that sits with you. It has you thinking, and one thing that I couldn't stop thinking about with this film was how incredible the practical effects were and how realistic the violence looked. I go on about it enough, but I am a massive fan of practical effects, and when they are done to this level, it is definitely up there with some of the best that I've ever seen. Because I couldn't stop thinking about it, I just had to watch it again and to really focus on the technical elements. There are things in this film that I don't usually really like to see in films, like SA. I usually just kind of avoid films with any of that in. This one is done differently to some of the typical ones. There is definitely over-the-top violence, over-the-top assault, scenes that I don't really like to watch. So it is kind of surprising that I do like this film as a whole. It is very well made and it does what it intends to do. The title doesn't lie. It definitely doesn't leave you with a happy feeling. The sadness is incredibly violent and brutal. It's probably one of the most intense and brutal takes on the infected subgenre. It's about a pandemic, so it definitely relates to what the whole world went through, but taking it to a new extreme. My next recommendation is a film called Dumplings. Aunt May makes and sells dumplings that are very popular with middle-aged women because they have properties of anti-aging and reverse aging. A new customer is interested in finding out May's secret ingredient, but when she finds out, she may regret knowing the shocking truth. This film is absolutely crazy and has some scenes that are really hard to stomach. Even the fault of some of the grotesque things is enough, but they don't stop there because they show you everything in all of its jaw-dropping detail. I really do like this concept and story, especially the commentary on beauty standards, especially in women, and the pressure society puts on us to look younger. It's quite repetitive and doesn't have a massive plot. It's very easy to follow and focuses mainly on the dumplings and just a few characters. My last recommendation is a film called We Need to Talk About Kevin. We follow Kevin's life as he grows from a toddler to a teenager, showing signs of something just not right and causing trouble to everyone around him. The film starts and shows us a glimpse of what's to come at the end, and then we see Kevin's life as his mother reflects back through the years, wondering where it all went wrong. It's a character study of Kevin that leads us to a really devastating end that is just all too familiar in the world that we live in today. It's extremely bleak and leaves you haunted by the final act. So there are all of my recommendations today. This video is a little bit shorter than I was gonna do just because I'm not that well at the moment. I actually have a massive list in this category, so if you want more videos, then just let me know. I think my next disturbing video, I will probably try to put 10 films in it. Let me know some of your favorite disturbing films in the comments, especially if they are underrated, because I would love to check some more out. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in another one soon.